I'm Darren, and welcome to my second long-form mukbang. Today I have mala hot pot and a lot of lamb and some potatoes and lotus root and my sauce. But the point is, we got the extreme spicy mala hot pot, which I will include a picture of. So, let me explain a little bit about this. I love mala flavoring, and my favorite hot pot ingredient is lamb. And also, I'll talk about my sauces in a bit. So, this hot pot thing is a bit loud, so I had to put it all the way over here. But I think I'll be able to manage. So first, let's combine some sauces. Oh, I totally forgot to get a bowl for the sauces. So, I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm back with my sauce bowl. Here we have Chinese barbecue sauce, or in satay. In Chinese it's called sa cha jiang, and I love this flavor. It's my favorite sauce, and I use a lot. I almost love just eating this. Alright, let's put that off to the side. Look, this isn't even all the sauce that I'm going to be using. And then we have some garlic. I love garlic too, so I have a lot here. Save some for later. And plenty of green onion. There we go. And then I would use a plain chili in oil, but this is what I have right now. It's lao ganma. So it's basically a chili crisp, as they call it, but the label says fried chili in oil. So I'll get a scoop of that. A nice heaping scoop. Even though the soup is already spicy, you know, can't go wrong, at least for me, with more. Alright, and then I'll mix my sauce. So now it's like this big old paste, and I would totally just eat this by itself, especially at the start of the meal. It's kind of like, I don't know, an appetizer. Yummy. Okay. Well, I guess the point of this mukbang is to eat a lot of lamb. Although I'm not gonna go too crazy. I'll work on this plate of lamb. I'll weigh it right now just to show you how much there is. So right now it says 2 pounds 6.6 ounces. It was a 3-pound tray when I bought it, but I used about half a pound, which is 8 ounces, a little more than that actually, earlier for eating hot pot, not doing a mukbang. But as you can see, there's about a little under 2.5 pounds. So we'll remember that, 2 pounds 6.6 ounces. And I'll eat as much lamb as I can. And I usually really go to town on the lamb, especially when I go to all-you-can-eat hot pot. Alright. And here I have some lotus root. It's one of my favorite hot pot ingredients. And some potato, just kind of to balance out all the meat with some carbs, even though it does absorb a lot of the sauce, which I love, so even better. See, I can't even help myself. Just gotta get some of that. Okay, it's been already 10 minutes since I started recording, along with the little mishap at the beginning. So we'll start eating some lamb. Now the other side is just water, and I was trying to use a smaller pot, but it wasn't compatible with this induction plate, electric plate. So I had to use the big hot pot, but it's only one person. I only need one side. That's the only kind of flavor I need. So just put a bunch of lamb in. Oh, I should turn it higher if I'm gonna cook this real quick. So I put a bunch of lamb in. It only takes about a minute, less than a minute maybe, but if I put this much, maybe about a minute to cook. And we'll put some lotus root in, just because it takes forever for lotus root to cook. So we'll leave that, and then maybe in half an hour it'll be nice and soft, but still slightly crunchy. So I have some water in my favorite Sally cup. If you saw from my last video, there's the character in the middle, Sally, another piece of merch that I have. The more videos I make, the more Sally you'll see. And I have some of my tea drink that I didn't finish earlier. It's from A+ Tea House over in San Gabriel. It's my favorite place to go to because they have a lot of fruity teas which are very light, not very sugary tasting. And it's for some sugar to balance out the spiciness. And we'll start eating. And this is what it usually starts to look like when I go eat all you can eat with people. They end up just watching me eat because I just don't stop. But because this is a mukbang, I gotta talk. Now remember, this is the extreme spicy mala hot pot soup base that I bought. Now there's actually a restaurant nearby. I don't think it's open right now, but it was recently opened, I think last year. It's a Sichuan hot pot place, and it was the really authentic levels of spiciness. So this would probably be in between medium to spicy level there, but their medium was spicy. And I ate those Carolina Reaper wings, or tenders, that other time. Well, the thing I love about this is it's spicy, but it's flavorful because of all the extra ingredients they put inside the soup base. The ma in the mala is numbing your mouth, so you almost don't feel the spiciness if you eat enough of it. That's kind of the funny thing. But I got a couple bites in, just to get the pure mala soup flavoring. And then I'll start adding my sauce. So good. And I could just keep eating this lamb. That's why I have a whole tray of lamb, because that's the thing I go right to when I'm at the all-you-can-eat Chinese hot pot. The unfortunate thing about hot pot places is some are Japanese, and it's kind of a trend lately of the Japanese all-you-can-eat hot pot, or shabu as they call it, shabu shabu. But they don't have the satay sauce because it's Chinese, or the mala soup base. It's just not the same. It's good, but it's a lighter flavor. When I eat this, I like this intense, strong flavors. I wonder how many of you guys like to eat mala hot pot, or maybe just comment what is your favorite type of hot pot, because I can appreciate all kinds of hot pots, but if I were to go to one over and over, it would be this. Now, I don't know how many of you people watch because of the chewing sounds. I got this new microphone. I'm not so sure if it picks up the chewing sound because right now I have the feed set on low because this hot pot boiling noise is pretty loud in the background. I'll see what happens when I edit the video. Now, last time I ended up eating one of these peppers, and that was a mistake. Because you get all the seeds, which are the spicy part, and it's not a pleasant bite. But, you know what? Isn't that the whole point of watching me do this? That one wasn't as spicy. Maybe because this is the second time using this soup base. Maybe the spiciness has been diluted out. But I have an entire pack of the soup base, which I think is meant for the entire pot, sitting in that half. So it's really concentrated, which is a good thing for me because I want all the mala flavor. Finishing up the first serving. Let's go for some potato. Just for those of you who don't watch the whole video, because I know this is really long because you're watching me eat an entire meal. So I'll put some potato and I'll tell you about them in just a sec. Maybe 5 minutes to let the potato cook through. I'll eat about half of them right now. Meanwhile, I need some tissues to... By the way, do you see this table I have here? I bought this table just to film mukbangs, just so I wouldn't be sitting on the ground like last time, eating a whole ton, and I couldn't really stomach it with my stomach compressed from sitting on the ground. So now I have a bench, a dining table bench, that we never use at home. So I took it and it became my workout bench, but now it's also my dining bench. Okay, so now the potato's cooking, so it's gonna take a while. So let's put some more lamb. Yummy. Now, why do I like lamb so much? Well, let's start with the base 3 meats that everyone is generally familiar with. Beef, pork, and chicken. So with beef, it tastes kinda irony, and I feel like Americans like their beef too much. I feel like beef is good when it's a high quality beef, just eating it plain. But I feel like beef shouldn't really be paired with too much flavors. But the thing is, beef is actually probably the most popular pairing with the mala flavor. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I like lamb more. But let's talk about the chicken. Well, chicken, honestly, I wouldn't do that for hot pot. It's really hard to slice because it's so small. And it's best for other preparations. And pork, well, pork is generally my favorite meat because it can go with so many things. I think pork is probably the most versatile protein of the base 3, in my opinion. But when it comes to lamb, well, I eat lamb a couple ways. Lamb goes really well with spices, and like Middle Eastern flavors. I forgot the first time I had lamb, I ate it. It was at, I don't know what restaurant it was, but it was some kind of like Middle Eastern, maybe halal. I was in elementary school, so I didn't know too much about food then. But I tasted it. It was ground lamb. I was like, what is this flavor? It's so interesting. And I'm all about kind of trying things that are different. I like things that are different. And I really like that spiced lamb flavor. And then I ate more and more lamb. Then I realized, oh, there's like that gaminess to it, but it's not super gamey, at least if you slice it properly. I can't really describe the taste, but I would say if you eat lamb plain compared to everything else, I think it has the most flavor. I don't really know how to describe that flavor, but that's what I have to say about lamb. Other ways of lamb I like to eat is the French rack of lamb. There's this French restaurant called Café Beaujolais in Eagle Rock, and I always order the rack of lamb when I go there. And that perfect medium rare, that texture is so nice, so nice. But that's why I love lamb. I could just keep eating it and eating it. I mean, I could do the same with beef, but I think after a while, the beef will just kind of be whatever to me. I won't be so into eating it, and I would just be eating it just to stuff myself. But with lamb, I anticipate eating it. Like, I'm never too shy or too out needed to eat more lamb, unless I'm trying to control my portion size, of course. Okay, yet again, my camera stops at 30 minutes of recording. So I'm not sure when it cut off, but I was talking about Christmas dinner plans with my family and sending some to family friends. So I'm gonna cook, and I will end up putting hot pot for the New Year's meal, which I think is appropriate. I don't want to be up on New Year's Eve cooking. I just want to eat. And I usually just go to sleep before New Year's. It's not really my thing. You know, to me, New Year's is a day. I mean, it's symbolically, it's a whole new year, but I see life as a continuing process. So one day isn't really, it doesn't really matter when I kind of recognize these renewals, such as New Year's. It's more important to me what goes in between on the regular days. Because you could say all these things, I'm gonna do this or that for New Year's, for the new year, but a lot of people are getting caught up in that holiday spirit, and then once that dies down, they go back to their regular lives and forget about what they had set out to do at the beginning of the year, or they face some setback and they're just like, it's harder than I thought, but that's just not me. Alright, look at this potato. I don't know how far this is, but maybe you can see it. Just do that hand thing, maybe it'll do something. Nah, I'm too far away. But again, I love potato with mala, especially in the soup, because it just absorbs all that soup. And potatoes, they are my favorite carb. I especially love fries. One day I'm gonna do a fry mukbang. I don't know what kind of fries yet, but I can make fries. And I'll make the ultimate super fries with a bunch of sauce and whatever meat I choose. It'll be a feast. But I could probably only eat about a big tray of it. It's really dense. If anyone's heard of The Hat, if you're in the San Gabriel Valley area, The Hat is like they sell pastrami sandwiches, and they're famous for chili cheese fries that are a big tray. Honestly, the fries aren't that great, but it's kind of like when I was eating Taco Bell. It fulfills a carnal kind of desire. So it might not taste that great, but you just want to keep eating it because it's like super rich and dense. They have this tray, and then you can add pastrami on top of the fries. So one time I ate the entire thing by myself in one sitting. It took me about maybe an hour and a half. But I was coming back from an event from out of town and I was just hungry because it was about 10 p.m. and I hadn't eaten yet. So I just went to the hat, ordered pastrami chili cheese fries, and just kept eating it and eating it. I would never do that now because it just doesn't taste as good to me now. Ever since I've explored more things to widen my palate to know what I like more to eat. Now maybe some of you wonder, why do I care to eat such spicy things? Well, one of our family friends, their family, god aunts, we call them, they're my sister's godmother's family. So the grandma, she would love to eat spicy foods before when we would go out to eat together. And that's kind of how I developed my taste for spicy foods. We would go to Sichuan restaurants and my favorite dish would be mapo tofu. And you know, when you get it at a Sichuan restaurant, if you get it the good way, they make it very spicy and very numbing, and also very tasty with all the black beans and everything else going on, the garlic and all that. But I would eat that entire dish, like 90% of it, by myself. But the fun thing I loved about that dish was it was very numbing from the Sichuan peppercorns. So by the time I was maybe like 2/3 of the way, my mouth would be really numb. The spiciness didn't even feel like anything anymore. Actually, it felt cooling in a way when I was eating it. Like, it numbs your mouth. It's kind of buzzy a little bit with the peppercorns, and then the spiciness. It was really spicy on the first hit when you're first eating it. But at that point, it would make everything sweet. Or if you're eating artichoke and everything else tastes sweeter after. Yeah, similar concept, I think. It changes the way food tastes as you're eating it, or after you eat the thing, enough of the thing, I suppose. Almost done with the second plate of lamb. Let's see how much I've eaten so. So remember, before I started eating, it was 2 pounds, 6.6 ounces. Right now it's 1 pound, 10.1 ounces. So I've eaten 12.5 ounces, which is 3/4 of a pound of lamb already. And I'm barely getting started, so I'm just gonna eat for some time, and maybe I'll just speed it up so you don't have to watch me eat so slowly with all the talking. But this potato though, it's been about 30 minutes, so the lotus root is probably done now, so I'll eat that. And then if you want to continue watching me eat lamb, feel free to. I'll test a piece of lotus root out. It's really hot, so gotta be careful. Now lotus root absorbs a lot of the soup too. You see it's white and it's all brownish now from the soup. Some restaurants, they have this cold appetizer, which is basically lotus root in chili oil, maybe a little bit peppercorn, maybe not as much peppercorn as this hot pot, and then maybe a lot of garlic, something like that, some oil. The piece was perfect, still a bit crunchy, but mostly cooked through, so it's not super crunchy like kind of raw vegetable, because these slices are pretty thick, so they do take some time to cook down. Alright, I'm back now. So my battery from my camera died again. But anyway, let's get back to the food. As you can see, this hot pot is now off because I took the time waiting for the battery to charge to cook all of the lamb. So that means I have to finish it, right? And I also cooked the rest of the potato right here. But I didn't cook any more lotus root because I wasn't anticipating eating all of it anyway. But now there won't be any background noise from the hot plate. So there was about a little more than 1.5 pounds of lamb left last time we would weigh it in. But now I cooked all of it, so I better eat all of it to not waste the cooking, because I don't really like recooked meat. I don't know about you, but it's not that great. It's a little dry. But let's get going then. I'll speed this up so you can just see that I'm actually eating everything. The reason I said I don't know if I would be eating all the lamb was because my philosophy is, nowadays at least, food should be enjoyable. And if at some point when you're eating, you're not enjoying the food, you might as well just stop. Because it's not really worth it, is it? But because it's lamb, I love lamb. I can eat it until my stomach hurts. But I won't do that. I'm gonna pace myself so that I'll feel the fullness coming, because as people say, it takes maybe 15 to 30 minutes for the food you ingest to start hitting your capacity. I will be back with some more water. Let's see how much this tray weighs to see how much I actually ate. 1.6 ounces. So that means 2 pounds 5 ounces of meat that I will have eaten if I finish this. I think I need to dip this in the pot again just to make the texture a little better. See, I'm like craving water. And it's not even spicy at this point. It's just all that salt. Definitely gonna eat low sodium the next couple of days. Probably just some veggies. And I've had more than enough protein in this meal. Just eat some veggies and some basic unseasoned carbs like potato to balance out my sodium levels over the next couple days. I'm getting very full, but there's not that much meat left. I can finish it very easily. Just gotta... Oh, I see all the fat's already starting to solidify. It's not that attractive right now. So let's see if the texture improves after dipping it. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't do too much of these bingey type mukbangs, and from now on I'll do fewer of them, and I'll do more of the just eating stuff and showing you what I'm eating because it's something special and super delicious kind of mukbang. So it's really just featuring different foods that I'll most likely be cooking, because that's the kind of food I usually most enjoy eating these days. I almost never order takeout these days during the pandemic. Staying at home is giving me a lot of time to be, I wouldn't say creative, but to explore different recipes and adjust them to my liking. I think that's my strength, my strong point. I have a very particular palate, and I like things a certain way. Not that I couldn't eat things that aren't perfectly to my liking, but I enjoy it so much more when it is, and then I don't even have to eat as much to enjoy it, and hence, that's how I can stay pretty thin. Because I don't need to overeat. I'm very conscious about what I eat. Oh yeah, this texture is much better. I should dip the lotus root in too to get all the congealed fat off, or at least just melt it. Maybe if you've reached the end of this video, maybe you'll be dedicated enough to watch more, and I would value your opinion on what kind of food I should eat. Now, I would try different things, but I kind of have a sense of whether I will like something or not before I even eat it. And I'm pretty much always right, like 99.7% of the time. Maybe there will be that one thing in like 300. I guess that's the percentage. 1 out of every 300 things that someone suggests that I think I wouldn't like and I end up liking. But these days, I can imagine the taste of, like how you can smell things in your mind. I can taste things before I've tasted it if I know the ingredient base. Because then I can imagine the combination of the flavors and also the textures. And that I really appreciate when people describe food tastes and textures very in detail, very accurately. All right, my last spoon of meat. So, yeah. I mean, for New Year's, I'm gonna do hot pot again. I obviously won't eat this much. Well, I might if I feel like it. But I might do a different kind of mukbang then, because it's in about a week. Let me know in the comment section what kind of way you celebrate New Year's, at least on the food side. Do you do anything special? Or you just eat something normal? I can feel the food coma starting to come over me because my eyes are starting to glaze over. All right, I finished 2 pounds and 5 ounces of lamb. So that's about that's maybe 2.28125 pounds of lamb before it's cooked. Now here, it's only just the barbecue sauce and the chilies left. So, yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Subscribe, comment, like, share it. I would love for as many people to be able to see this. And let me know what you would like to see the next time or in the future. See ya!